Steve, I'm telling you, it's zoomed in. It is. I am zoomed in.
Well, this thing, people are getting more Darian for their money. It's value. It's a value size Darian. If you're watching on YouTube, it's a value size Darian. And if you're listening on radio, you're thinking I should just stop now and get to YouTube.
Correct me if I'm wrong, 0 times anything is still 0, correct?
Not if it's bigger.
I guess that's fair. The name of this podcast, where I feel incredibly close to the box here, is called Stuff Summer Says with
Steve.
Steve, I do have one thing I want to discuss related to YouTube, but also related to October. Number one, we finally hit 200 subscribers on YouTube. Proud of us there.
Look at us. Woo-hoo.
Number 2, October, best month ever in the blog's history, by a wide margin. I don't know what happened to make that happen, so I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that could be.
Yeah, don't know what that could be either. Anyways, just thank you to everybody that's coming along on this weird and wild journey. Just us tonight, but that's fine. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the Ohio State game, this weekend's game. I think we will have a head coaching conversation for the first time. We haven't really had one. I think we are due to throw our hat into the ring of throwing people into the ring.
Okay.
And then I have some show and tell that will serve as this week's old guy, young guy.
I can't wait.
It's nothing that interesting.
You said you had to get it organized. I saw movement happening.
Yeah, it's like 3 things, but
nice.
So, all right.
Can't wait.
Let's talk about the game. Let's start there. Penn State played Ohio State, lost 38-14. I don't know that I expected any other outcome. I don't know that we should expect any other outcome. Unfortunately, maybe until we were proven otherwise. What I don't understand, and it came up today in the press conference, and Terry Smith talked about it a little bit, is we say we're going to do all of these changes. We say we're going to do all of these things. And then the first opportunity and the second opportunity that we get to do with those things, we don't do them. And it doesn't make sense to me who would try to solve the problem. And I feel as though, particularly on a 2 screens and then a quadruple reverse that went for negative 14 yards, I just don't think that that's working. I don't. And I don't know how the hell we got to this point in this season of what has truly become a calamity of calamities.
Yeah, it feels nice that Ryan Day before the game and now this week Kurt Signetti before the game say, oh, it's still a lot of the same talent, a lot of the same things, top 25 team according to some metrics, blah, 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 blah. I think coaches do that. I don't think coaches, I've seen it happen. The coaches do that to protect other coaches in some ways, right? They're hey, this is working, this is who they are, and they're not throwing their colleagues under the bus. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know that we ever really will know what went wrong or how this all went south, but it's solidly there. I mean, it's not just a little bit. It's defensive backs getting burnt as if they're not at the same skill level of other people. It's bad calls on offense. It's illogical coaching decisions on 4th downs early in the game because, why not try something? Yeah, it's frustrating. It has to be for Penn State fans. What was the vibe in the stadium like? Like what was
that was, we were talking about this on Saturday. I have been to every Penn State Ohio State game since 2013, 2012. Yeah, no, sorry, 2014, because 2013 we missed. That was the 63-7 gobsmacking. We missed that one, or 63-14. I forget what the score was on that one. However, that was the fewest Penn State fans I've ever seen at an Ohio State game. Okay. Like way high, like by far. There was, and now there was the section, the usual section, which is the family section right there in the front, in the corner of the shoe, and then there was the section up top. But amongst the general population, if you will, by far.
Okay.
And I think it was funny. Went to the bathroom, run into some Penn Staters. going to the bathroom, and everybody's kind of looking at each other. Well, that's 14 more points than I thought they were going to score all day. That's, that was the vibe. Like it is weird how sullied our expectations have gone for this season in a way that I don't think. I don't know. I feel like eventually, I think time will just move on, and I don't think we'll ever like revisit this season. We kind of maybe we'll throw it in the corner, kind of like the COVID season, and in particular because we are going into a new era. This era is dead. We are in a lame duck era right now, I guess, if you will, because the dark years. I was thinking about the dark years, and it was like I was trying to find the last time that Penn State lost 6 straight games, which was back then. And I was like, this is weird, but I also remember this time, but I don't really remember much of 2020. I don't think we're going to, other than I think we're going to remember the 3 weeks towards the end of, September, October, but I don't think we're going to remember anything else from this season. I really don't.
Well, it'll be easier not to remember because it'll be different coaching staff.
Exactly.
You won't have to call back to that. I think that's true. I think this kind of exists as a one-off end of the chapter. Well, not a one-off. It's an end of the chapter that was the James Franklin era. And people won't look back on it so much as the new coach comes in and gets to start things all over again. And that narrative will begin there. It is really interesting how the expectations have changed. And 14 points is great. Oh, they played hard. Oh, they work hard at practice. Oh, that kid helped the equipment guy push that thing up the hill.
There it is.
Holy cow. Well, realistically, that's the highlight of the game. That's the viral moment after all of it. And that's what the program has become. Oh, look at the nice lineman helping them out. And everybody's, those are the kind of Penn State athletes we need. Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Good people. And that is entirely fine. But that is a different place from competing for a national championship.
Oh,
yeah. And the teams that are competing for a national championship might tell the anecdotes about how nice their kids are, but it's not the big story. So, yeah, there's a wide gap between what people thought this was going to be the first week of November and what it is.
When you said you had texted me about this earlier, and I had said to you, it reminded me of when James Franklin said, "At least we're wearing our masks." Back in 2020, like we're the best at wearing our masks. That was what that reminded me of. It is a nice moment. I appreciate that. I do agree with you. It would be nice to have a moment that is about the X's and O's and winning a football game, or I think that is, and I think between last weekend and this weekend, Penn State has a weird opportunity for a place it's never really in, and that's to play spoiler on somebody's season. And I don't think actually that would spoil anybody's season that much. Indiana in particular, like I think, and obviously the Ohio State game is what it is now, but like I don't think that if Penn State beats Indiana this weekend, it's going to ruin Indiana's season. They're still going to the playoff, but I think it would be nice to be talking about that here on this podcast.
Well, but since we're not, let's go further down that road. What was the game day presentation like at Ohio State?
I think that Penn State should have to give up its trademark of the greatest show in college sports.
Because why?
It's so much better. I'm sorry, it is, and it's a much better experience. It is the only thing that I can think of is. The Horseshoe is old and it's cramped and it's kind of tiny and it's not as sprawling, like it's not as wide as Beaver Stadium is in a lot of ways. But honestly, like it was such a more polished experience. It was such a more professional experience. It was closer to what I've experienced at an NFL game than what I've experienced at most other college football games.
Okay.
I think there was the Wi-Fi that was vastly fast. I mean, so if you've never been to the Horseshoe, in the hand railings of the stadium there are little boxes, and those little boxes transmit Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi that we were getting is faster at that stadium than it is at like my mom's house, and that's with like not an exaggeration. It is. It's faster than the stadium Wi-Fi you get underneath Beaver Stadium. I thought that was very well connected to what was going on, especially, which is great when the game is a blowout and you are not paying attention. They do little things. It's like the little things that they do because of that. So all of the game day activations that they do for ads, they put up a QR code and it's scan this QR code and go sign up for this thing, or Ohio State fans save 20% off their next Jersey Mike sandwich or something like that. Like, it's types of those things that are really good activations that I thought were interesting. The other thing I thought was really interesting, in between the quarters, there are no announcements. There's no ad read. It is them playing songs, letting people get hyped up, having fun, all about that, like showing people on the Jumbotron, that type of thing. I thought that was interesting. The other thing, I wrote down a couple of things. So the QR codes, they have an in-stadium host. They have 2 of them. And I know Penn State kind of tried this a few seasons ago, and then they kind of moved away from it. But they have like an in-stadium host, like both pumping up the crowd, but also like, hey, we're here in section whatever with so-and-so. He's going to play this game. Like, they have people on the field playing the games. It is like they do the helmet shuffle thing, but they have somebody that guesses and then he wins a prize. They had like people in those big inflatable orbs running into each other doing something. I thought that was interesting. There were no asks that I noticed. There were no asks for money.
Okay.
There were no, other than the QR code, which is like more or less an ask for money, but there was no like, hey, support the Ohio State, the Buckeye Club or whatever, or their NIL thing. Thought that was interesting. They did one cool activation, which was coming back from halftime. They like played, it was for Myrtle Beach. They played the waves crashing on the beach at Myrtle Beach, and said, like, for probably about 30 seconds, no other sound other than waves crashing. And they were like, relax before halftime kicks off, was like what the like text said on it. I thought that was clever. They also have some of the best in-stadium camera tech I've seen. So they had a shot of them coming down the tunnel, and it was the whole way, one single shot. Did you just try to drink your water bottle with your lid on?
For the second time, if anybody's watching besides you. So, oops.
So they're coming down, certainly as high quality as us. They're coming down the tunnel, and it's on one of those steady cams, and they use the steady cam a lot. And I thought that was, which I know there used to be the steady cam guy, but haven't seen that a lot. You got in stadium stats. It was a much better, much more informed experience that I hope that a certain AD was paying attention to, although I'm doubtful, and I think he might have been helping coach the football team. Might be my hot take for this.
I think he was too close on the sidelines, hunched over in his linebacker position to be paying attention to what was going on in the stadium. I mean, Penn State is limited. They will probably tell you they're limited by technology in the old stadium. There's some things they can't do, and maybe they're waiting to implement those things. But also some of those things don't feel like super high-level fruit. I think there are things they probably could do, and they're tied to, maybe we could trade a flag for some tech, right? Like, what do you think we could get on the open market for a fourth quarter flag and somebody asking, are you ready? Although the are you ready is in the DNA. We are never going to change that.
Correct.
But the fourth quarter flag, maybe we could get a steady cam for a fourth quarter. Maybe with a fourth quarter flag and the person who's holding it, we could get a steady cam. We don't need a person in return.
If you recall, last year, maybe it was last year, I put out an article and I said, Pat Kraft, name your number. We will raise a donation to half of it going to NIL, half of it going to Thon. Got no response. Clearly doesn't read the blog. So
doesn't need your money.
Doesn't need my money. I just, it's stuff like that it's like, for whatever reason, we have collectively here in Penn State, just started to say, okay, we're going to compare everything to Ohio State. And I don't know why we started doing that, when we started doing that, but it's probably when they started winning all these national championships. And if we're trying to compare the standard, and we consider the athletic department budgets, and we consider all of these things, to your point, like, I just can't imagine that all told, there's that much difference. Even like the ads that were in the playing field, so to speak, or around the stadium, they added something to the experience for the most part. There was a Meyer sign that didn't really do anything. There was, and I know some people are a little anxious about this, but there was a defense corp that had their slogan was "Defend the Shoe," was like how they sponsored it. There were a couple of different activations like that, and it's like little things like that and we got this for one game at the whiteout with what Sheets did and what some of the other brands did, Highmark did. Why can't we do that every game? Like why can't we set ourselves up for higher expectations every game when you go to the game and experience it? Spending all this money, spending all this time as a fan, I want something out of the value of the product other than, I don't want to say hokiness, but it kind of feels a little hokey.
There's a happy place somewhere between full-on minor league baseball, and I love minor league baseball.
Yes.
But there's a happy place between full-on minor league baseball and traditional college football. And it doesn't feel sometimes as if that's being sought as aggressively inside Beaver Stadium as it's at some other places. I mean, in Columbus, it's a bigger market, more people maybe. I don't know. I those are all excuses. Those are all can'ts, as opposed to, start me with yes and work backwards on how we make those kind of things happen that people would say in those situations. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, there's things people are familiar and comfortable with at Beaver Stadium that if you change, it would freak them out. But I don't know what those are anymore, honestly, in some ways. The band, hearing them a little bit, but I think if you had good, fun experiences they're different, even in some ways, the lottery ping pong ball run from 4 years ago, 4 years ago, was something. You knew how it was going to work out, but it was something sort of different.
Fun.
Even the silly Utz potato chip thing,
which has been a good activation this year. The tournament thing has been a good activation this year.
So they have stuff, but it was just interesting to hear you because you said, "Oh, it's not a comparison." So I was curious and I wanted to hear that. So that's great.
Yeah, it's not. What would be your non-negotiable that you can't get rid of the game day experience? And it can't be too broad. Like you can't say the band. Like obviously we're never going to get rid of the college marching band.
No, but I think the calm before the storm of the drum line's cadence.
Yeah.
Like that part when the band comes out, like that part. I get the floating lions, I get the flip. That cadence part when people stand up and get ready for it, like that's pretty cool to me. And they're not going to get rid of that. And what I would always gladly throw away would be giving the microphone to a college student cheerleader to ask them if they're ready for Penn State football. We have now grown to accept that as what's there, but we can't, if you want to talk about expecting better, we can't expect better than that. Imagine that long shot of the team coming down the tunnel, the team working through, you play the hype video and you time that team coming down the tunnel and the crescendo happens as the team comes to the gate and you bring them out. And there's not that lull there. That lull doesn't get people down to get them back up. That lull is just a lull. And it doesn't have to be there in the show. It can be building to the moment the team enters the field and let's bring on the Lions, which they used to say and was great. It was kind of like a Coliseum thing. Let's bring on the Lions. That was nice, kind of Coliseum-y, old battle kind of thing. I would bring that back. But I know Are You Ready is here. Like, and I've just
it's on T-shirts now. Like it quite literally is a part of the brand. I
think your non-negotiable is what?
I was gonna say I think about the Michigan. The best entry is the Michigan one where they had, which half of the reason is because they had James Earl Jones do the narration for their pump up video. But they have this pump up video that's very cinematic, and they talk about all of these the Michigan men and the team and that whole thing. And then somehow they cut it so that it flows right into the team running out on the field. And it just fits so naturally. I think is really cool.
What if Joe Paterno's voice was on the hype video? I mean, Bear Bryant's was at Alabama, still may be, right? They have a snippet from him. What if they had a little snippet of him rallying the troops, blah, 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 from some speech somewhere, and you see
that would
highlights
require
of
the
teams.
sound to work.
Well, that's fair.
I'm sorry, that was mean. That was mean. I'm sorry. My non-negotiable. Okay. I think rock and roll itself is great. I love the way the stadium sounds with the P, the S, and the U. I think that's really cool. But I do think all of that could be better. I think that the non-negotiable is still the "we are" at kickoff. It's still, and what was annoying about that, there used to be a lot more "we are" chants during a game that were organically driven, not from the guys with the flags holding the flags up.
Because there's nothing organic anymore. It's all programmed.
Which is fair. Yeah. No, so I think that would be mine. I do like the drum major flip. I mean, besides the flag, I don't. I think I would get rid of, and maybe they will, the pause of waiting for the team, and then everybody's got to clear out. Just clear the damn area out. Time it. It's not hard. That's a good one. Okay. We've spent enough on that, but we can talk about another aspect of the game. You watched the broadcast. That was a broadcast.
You are so lucky you were there in person.
I've heard people have texted me that it was not great.
And you're even luckier that you didn't have to watch TV, because with YouTube TV and Disney fighting, there was no game day to be had. I mean, you could have had it on your app for free, but wasn't an option where I was. So I'm like, let me watch Big Noon Kickoff. How bad could it possibly be?
God, you were locked into Big Kickoff. No.
And it was like being locked in a jail. I mean, it turned out it was really bad. I mean, I eventually gave up on it, and we watched something else till the game kicked off. I mean, there's no. If you're an Ohio State fan complaining about Big Noon during your games, you are just flat wrong, because they love everything about you, and it is a pregame show for your team's games. And I don't begrudge them that at all. That's just what it is, and that's wonderful. But there's no authenticity or depth to it. I think it's all bro football stuff. I don't know. I get football is a violent sport played by men, blah, blah. I did just, the whole Portney thing is a show about him. It's just silliness. I don't believe they care about college football. I believe they care about getting ratings for the things they're doing and sparking conversation. And maybe, and again, that's part of the job, but that's a big part of the job about TV. But, and I know Pat McAfee clowns it up and does whatever else, but Pat McAfee is still giving away his own money at some point during the show, so he's certainly engaged.
Sincere.
Kirk Herbstreit is bringing his dogs, so it's a family. It's got a family feel to it. That's fair. I don't know. It wasn't informative. It didn't feel fun, and I tried. It wasn't because my team, Penn State, wasn't any good and wasn't part of it. Right? It just felt like, I don't know, what they're doing is to be the same but different, and they're different. I'm not the demographic for it. I'm too old for that stuff now. Even if I ever was the right age for that stuff.
Are you? Or do you? I don't think it's an age thing. I really don't. I think it's a quality thing. I think you recognize quality. I think that's what it is.
I do too. I just think they're not, and I don't think they care about college football writ large. They just don't. They're going to do 2-hour pregame show. It's going to be great. We're going to lean into Portnoy, especially there at Michigan and Ohio State is the story. It's, whatever else. Nice to do Urban Meyer with the ringing the bell and have his family there and a Hall of Fame induction and mention all that kind of stuff. And if you were in the back of your mind thinking Urban Meyer is going to be the coach at Penn State, well, I don't know how you can even think about how he can even think about it after the love-in that was, and the clear Ohio State mindset that is all him. Hey, it's how many more, 20-some days or whatever, a month till they play Michigan, right? And he played that up with the crowd. So I don't know. It wasn't an enjoyable watch, and the game wasn't any better because it wasn't. And that was the larger part because it wasn't competitive, and the other part is Gus Johnson leans into Ohio State with the nicknames and whatever else. And I didn't see it live, but the whole going back and talking about Brian Kelly being a fit at Penn State, I just don't know how you can think that, right? And be the lead guy for a network who, again, supposedly cares about the sport and not see how that's just probably not going to happen and not even something that even the rumor people are having a rumor about. So it was all of that. Sorry, that was a lot.
No, that was good. Let's go back to Urban Meyer because I did want to. What was funny was they introduced him. He walks down so they had him ring the bell, which I forgot about, and then they introduce him down at the corner or the bowl of the shoe, and they have him, and they did a montage and stuff, and they've specifically brought up the Michigan thing of him being undefeated against Michigan, and I thought that was funny because I know that that's a big thing for him, but the Gus Johnson thing to me is a really good point because the Gus Johnson thing says this is all intents and purposes the number 2 broadcast crew in all of college football. Like when you do the mathematical money hierarchy of ESPN is spending the most money, so that would be Chris and Kirk doing their big game, which is pretty much always an SEC game now, and then you've got these two doing the lead Big Ten game of the weekend more often than not. Obviously, it rotates through. To not read the room, both from Brian Kelly, just the articles that came out about Brian Kelly over the last week, plus like the whole Brian Kelly and the kid at Notre Dame thing, like to not read that room is just is tone deaf. I think, and I think that's why people were probably frustrated. I was surprised when people had texted me about that. I was surprised about that. I think that speaks to the fact that they do not know college football for why we love. They are AIing their way through it, or they are like hacking their way through it. Of we'll just be here or there, and it extends to his broadcast partner. Most of what Joel Klatt says, I don't trust for some reason. Not on the broadcast. I mean, when he does like his podcast, I don't trust it. I don't.
I think reading the room and appreciating the sport. I don't think, in terms of people who cover college football, I don't think two people could be further apart in terms of the respect for the culture of the sport, the history, the tradition, the knowledge, than Ryan McGee, who we had last week, and Gus Johnson, who we saw last week and we're going to see again this week covering the game. I just think, not that they don't. I don't know what their relationship is. That doesn't matter. But how they serve viewers is totally different. And yes, they do totally different jobs. But the knowledge they bring to those jobs should be somewhat similar. And I'm not sure it's in the same stadium.
I think that's fair. Anything else, TV, you want to hit on?
No, I hope YouTube and those guys stop fighting soon, because I'm going to have to figure out going back to cable if I need to or something.
No, I was thinking about it as well. Did they mention the moment where they showed Jim Knowles on the Jumbotron? Did they mention that?
I don't think I saw it there. I saw it on social.
Okay, so that was interesting, and I don't know. I understand you're beating up on Penn State and you like to shove it in Penn State's face. You're better, but I thought it was weird to kind of
would Penn State, and it hasn't happened. Would Penn State fans, a vocal enough group, recognize the assistant coach at the other place when he was put up to be trolled and make noise?
I don't think Penn State would have. To Penn State's credit, I don't think Penn State would have.
Okay, that's fine.
Put him up. I just think that that's weird.
Well, I mean, Ryan Day said it's not hard not to take it personally. I mean, and the coach controls a lot which happens in the game, so I'm sure somebody's happy to make sure that they're personal too.
I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird moment. But then again, I'm starting to think that he had little to do with them winning a national title, and it was all player related. So
maybe next year his system will click.
Yeah, somewhere else.
He's not the one getting burnt by 10 yards in the defensive backfield. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. What's next?
Did you see the scheming? Because related to that, we talked about Gus Johnson. Do you think any of the narrative that will continue from the broadcast last weekend into this weekend? Like, do you think, or are you just like should Penn State fans just plan to just watch the whole thing on mute? 17
Yeah,
a year ago, and I'm just going to watch it on mute.
Yeah, I would think it's right. Tune in to YouTube with Steve and Jack. Listen to it on the stream with Steve and Jack if you want, and have that there. I don't think they're offering anything for Penn State fans. I don't think, to your point, I don't think Joel Klatt's offering any kind of insider, even more analysis than they haven't already heard from him. Gus certainly isn't doing that. And if it goes the way it feels like it's going to go, this game's at noon because the number 2 team in the country is playing at noon.
Right.
They're and 2 big alumni fan bases are watching the game. So it's the right decision for Fox by every possible measurable. Do I think it'll be an enjoyable listening and viewing experience for Penn State fans? Probably not. So if you have an option, exercise it.
That's fair. No, I think I agree with that. I'm interested to see what the vibe of the stadium will be like on Saturday. I'm interested to see what has changed. Interested by the pump up videos. We had a big thing that didn't change, which was that Penn State athletics still tweeted a kick time as opposed to Penn State football tweeting a kick time today. I thought that was interesting. It's funny to see. It will be that will be the most intriguing thing. Like, it was weird. I think it was the first game of the season. I said, like, oh, the story of this game is not the game. It is what's changed in the stadium. It's very much the same thing here. Like, the story is the atmosphere this week.
They've had 3 weeks. We get to see what people come back to. There's no booing of James Franklin in the introductory thing and the player intros. Terry Smith will get cheers because he's the guy.
Yeah.
The truth teller leading him out of whatever else and making him work hard and play harder and getting the same results. So, well, it is, right? I mean, I don't know that he's getting a pass. He's in a bad situation. But he's kind of getting, the interim coach is in a bad situation, but everybody loves him because he was a spunky player that was a leader of the team and did stuff and has been around for years, and they like him. And to your point that we started with, right? He said this thing and we're going to change it. Nothing changed. We're going to say this thing this week. Is it going to change? Guess we'll find out.
I want that thing to change, and I want a lot of things to change, but at least he's like semi-authentic. It is so stark, the difference between the two. James Franklin just going to Terry Smith. Kind of forgot what that feels like. So interested to see what Saturday will be like. All right. Basketball did win. Good for them. Okay. Do you want to dive in on some head coaching stuff? I haven't really.
Sure. What do you got?
I want to know who would Steve Samsel call? Who is the first phone call? Because I haven't figured out who my first phone call is.
No, and the longer it goes, you have to think that Pat Kraft's first phone call wasn't answered the way he thought it was going to be. I mean,
is it or
do
did
we have
he just fire him so early that you have to sit on?
Yeah, I'm not expecting a change till November 29th.
Correct.
At 7:00 after the game ends, right? Make the change, announce press conference Monday, introduce the new person. I think feels like the best way. Rule felt logical, but that's over with.
Thank God.
Maybe it's the guy at JMU. Maybe it's the Pennsylvania native coming back, taking following the Kurt Signetti. Last big guy came from down there. Let's take this guy. I think. I don't know that I have something, but I am so tired, because we do so much more media stuff. I am so tired of people who don't know any more than we do saying, I don't want that guy. I want the next that guy. Yeah, isn't that what you say in these situations? Or I don't want to be that high. I want them to pick they're just spouting off this. Nobody knows. A few people know some stuff because they have connections, but I think the percentage of people who were covering college football and that Penn State people consume on a regular basis who really know something or will know something when the time comes, Pete Thamel is going to break the story when it happens. And it's just media people spouting off stuff and making their hot boards. Well, that guy's gone. What's going to be this person? And I don't know that they're any less qualified than if you had a search group doing it, because I think search groups in these situations are overpaid and silly. But I don't know. There's not a head coach out there. Is there? The Vanderbilt guy, Clark Lee, doesn't appeal to me.
Does he not appeal to you because he came from Vandy? He would come from Vandy? Okay.
No, I did.
He's not. What I don't like is I want somebody that's offensive minded. I want an offensive-minded coach. But to James Franklin's credit, that is defense will never change here. Like, even, my God, like, think about the Bill O'Brien era.
Right.
The defense will never change.
No, it feels like Elko will work a deal for himself down there better. I mean,
too much money down there.
Right. I just think he'll work like a better deal. And I just don't know who the head coach is that's going to come. I mean, if it's Manny Diaz, I don't know that I'm upset about that. But again, you got a defensive guy who's people love because his defense played well and he was a head coach before, and maybe he'll hire a good offensive coordinator and get him over the hump. And he knows how to lead a program in the NIL era and blah, 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 blah. Maybe he and Chesney would be my 1-2. You know, I don't know.
Manny's name has popped in my head for multiple reasons. I think Manny would be good. I do like Manny. But I wonder how poorly, or how the bridge is, if the bridge is still intact between Pat Kraft and Manny, with the whole Miami thing shaking down in the 17 days.
But he got hired back here after that. I mean, not that he had to sign off on the defensive coordinator, but he got hired back here.
We might need to look at the timeline on that, because I think that might have been before Pat started, because that was 2022. Pat was 2022.
Oh,
I think that might have been right. It would have been right before, I think.
Okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. So I still don't feel like the name is out there. Like, again, I just don't. So not that we know, but I don't think the name is out there. I don't know. I would call an offensive mind. I think Lane Kiffin would be an absolute blast. Like, I do think about that. Like, I do think about from our perspective, I think that would be just an absolute blast. I think it's going to be, I either think it's going to be a very proven head coach. Elko would be a good example, but I don't know if he's proven enough. Urban Meyer, not that I want him, would have made sense in that sense. Or it's going to be somebody that either isn't on our radar or is further down the totem pole, of like a Bob Chesney or a Will Stein or Brian Hartline. Because I think I don't know. I just still think it's going to go that direction more than it goes the obvious direction of Eli Drinkwitz, etc.
Jeff Brom's an offensive coach.
Can we talk about the alma mater thing?
Go ahead.
Because I don't understand that. I don't understand when, like, that went out of style for a long time. Now all of a sudden it's like a thing again. And like, but I also don't know that Brom I'm super sold on Brom, although I do love him and I do love is this or is this not the XFL clip? But like, I don't know that I think that he's the right guy, because I don't think he we go back and read Pat Kraft's boxes. I don't know that he checks all of them.
Oh yeah, I don't know that he does either. I think it's one of those names that gets kind of thrown out there. The Purdue stint helps him in terms of coming back to the Big Ten in my mind, and I think people could rally around the offensive guy, and you have the XFL clip, but he gets credits.
Would Neely do that to?
Oh, that's interesting.
To Louisville?
Yeah, I don't think they care, right? And her job is the bottom line at Penn State right now, not the bottom line at someplace else. I think he gets a lot of credit. Oh, he's beating these top. Look at that record against top 25 teams. Okay, well, so he wins an unexpected game a year. The job here is to win
2. Now
that we fired a guy because he lost 3, the job here is to never lose more than 3 games. And the idea is to win all of them. So it becomes a really small pool of people.
Correct.
So,
correct. All right.
Can I ask about the other side of that before we're done?
Yeah.
Where do you think James fits best? He's going to coach.
I think I know we talked about the Virginia Tech job, but I think the Auburn job also makes a lot of sense.
Why?
I don't know why, but I do. Okay. I just do. It just doesn't, because nothing at Auburn makes sense. They hire Hugh Freeze, who is problematic for multiple reasons. Then they hire DJ Durkin to be their interim, who's problematic for multiple reasons. They fire Gus Malzahn, who probably, all things considered, is actually one of the, there's a name.
Really?
Like, all things considered.
Jimbo Fisher's a name too.
Like, I don't know. I think that I don't think, but I also think when we look at the coaching tree, you look at, here's why I think the Virginia Tech thing doesn't work. You said it would be great for him. And I do agree that like the recruiting ties, etc. I don't think he would go back to Maryland because I think he's too pissed off at the way the Maryland situation played out with him getting burned. Even if that, I think it's just like he was so whatever towards Maryland over the last few years.
You mean if Maryland opens up?
Yeah, if Maryland opens up.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a possibility. But the Virginia Tech thing is weird to me in the same way, some of the same way that the Clark Lee to Penn State logic is weird to me. Why would you go hire the guy that started the coaching tree of the guy that you just fired? If that makes sense.
Like that makes sense for the Lee one. That makes sense. The only reason I think Virginia Tech makes sense for James more so than an SEC school is there's less noise. Now I think he's going to get. It's not going to matter. The agent's going to look about whatever he can get paid and whatever he can get guaranteed. But there is less noise at Virginia Tech, and they've struggled. He could go down there and in 2 or 3 seasons, I think there's still that much grace, sell alignment, get everything back together, win 8 or 9 games, and be great for 4 or 5 years, and then have to worry about getting over the hump and have 2 or 3 or 4 years to get over the hump. So all of a sudden, I could see Virginia Tech being an 8-year job.
Yeah.
At Auburn, it's a 3-year job.
That's fair.
no matter what you do. And Blacksburg is, yes, just as remote as State College, but apparently that wasn't something that, it's not like the family got super involved here. So if they don't get super involved in another small town, what's the difference? They can afford a plane and net jet hours to fly wherever they want to. I get an SEC school, put them closer to Florida or whatever else, and maybe better weather. But and he may end up at Auburn. It may be a better job financially and visibility wise, but Virginia Tech just feels like, I've said it even before football, it feels like Penn State South. I feel like you go there, they're happy to have you. You win 7 games next season, just figuring it out, getting it together. 8 or so the next season. Yeah, the biggest challenge at Virginia Tech would be if the ACC's around by the time he's good.
Which is very fair. Like it could, yeah. No, that's a very, very
well,
legitimate thing.
I mean, it's true. You know,
no, it is. I don't know.
I mean, that said, the money will talk. But Florida's not doing it. LSU's not doing it because they just can't.
They're not.
You can't win the big game in the Big Ten. You can't win the big game in the SEC.
Who wants the LSU job right now? I don't think anybody wants the LSU job right now. I don't think you could pay me to take the LSU job right now. We got Foghorn Leghorn running the athletics program.
It'd be great if Ed Ogeron ended up back there.
That's what I think. That's actually what I think it would be. I've texted some people and said, "Hey, what about Ed Ogeron?" Everybody tells me no on that one. So.
Well, we don't know anything.
So okay, that's it. Anything
Show and tell time.
Show and tell time. Anything else? You cover everything?
No, I'm ready for show and tell time.
Show and tell time brought to you by my mom, who picked up some books at the Altoona Public Library book sale. They're all Penn State related. I just thought they were kind of interesting. Ken Rappaport's book, the
Road to Number One.
Tales from Penn State. So I thought that was great. I need to get Road to Number One. That one is not over here. Thought that one was good. Nothing terribly interesting here, but I know. No,
it's part of the essential Penn State collection of books. That's great.
Yep. This one from former podcast guest and friend of the podcast, Neil Riddell and Corey Geiger. They Know Joe, which was very popular. George H.W. on here.
Yep.
We got Lou Holtz. Some other random people. There were a couple of random people in here. Trying to think.
That's a good get. That's 2 good gets.
I thought that one was pretty good. I thought I forgot about this one. There's a bunch of Johnny Majors is in here. John Clayton's in here.
Yep.
Forgot about that one. So there's that one. This one was the one that kind of prompted the show and tell. It is from 324, which was the Division 1, the FBS record. Thought that was cool. Some guy named Mike Porman.
He edited it.
I don't know if he's any good or anything. George H.W. also did a forward for this, and which is funny because I forget about how involved Paterno was with was H.W. the president he gave the Republican National Convention for?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
That's
I
right.
forgot about that. So there's that. This one is mainly cool just for the ads. So there's this cool like Franco ad if you're watching on YouTube in this new bookstore.
What was Franco pitching?
I think Franco, it was just saying.
Was that cookies or just?
No, it's just Franco saying thank you. Oh, Super Donut. Do you know what Super Donut was?
Yeah, well, I knew there was donut, and then there was like he and Lydell Mitchell had like a bakery or something too that they partnered on.
There's a couple cool shots of Bear Bryant. There's a cool shot of Bear Bryant in here somewhere. There's also a whole thing about Joe and the media, which I thought was neat. Where's the good Sheets ad? Oh, the Sheets ad's on the back. Just like I miss these old Sheets fonts. Thought that was funny. I forgot about that. Trying to think. There was a couple good ones in here. Old AccuWeather ad. This U.S. Airways ad, Destination Homecoming. It was good.
Good gets. Nice job.
Gets. Yeah. So,
good work by Bev. That's wonderful.
Yeah. This ad for Allegheny Power, which was kind of funny. Just this girl getting this football from this guy.
And that's why you're going to pay and this is why your electricity bill is going up because you got to buy this ad.
Yeah. So, anyways. Oh, I didn't know this. This was actually the other thing. There's an ad from the Brown Alumni Association for Paterno.
Okay.
Dr. Joseph V. Paterno?
He probably got an honorary from him at some point. Yeah. I would sure. Yeah, from Brown, I'm sure he's got an honorary from Brown at some point, right? In the 70s or early 80s. I'm sure they brought it back. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay. Anyways, that was this week's Old Guy, Young Guy / Show and Tell. That was interesting. Figured people enjoy that.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right. What do you, I'll have some stuff around the blog this week.
I think, kind of either tonight, probably not yet tonight because it's like late and I'm old. Tomorrow morning, I think I'm going to write about the return to rec for women's basketball. I mean, it's just, it's not football, but it's what we do. It's our lane for game day presentation and whatever else. So I'm going to do a little bit there. Big spoiler alert, they need a scoreboard at Rec Hall if they're going to play basketball there. Center hunk scoreboard would be nice. So I'll write that. I beat up on Fox and them already last week, so I don't know that I need to do it again this week. So we'll see.
I might take a look at I promised the parking thing. I got 2 home games left. I want to look at parking, and I want to look at West Shore home. Those are 2 things left on the docket that I want to look at. We'll see where else other things come to mind. We'll have a game preview. We'll have the usual stuff there. Yeah. So, okay. Don't forget it's the helmet stripe, which is the 3rd game this season that you're
wear the correct color.
So make sure you look that up. Anyways, name of this podcast, Stuff Summer Says with Steve. Website is called stuffsummersays.com. On that website, there's a section called with
Steve.
We have emails. Mine's Darian at stuffsummersays.com. Steve's is
Steve at stuffsummersays.com.
Perfect. We've got emails, 5 stars, thumbs up, like and subscribe. Thank you to all of our new subscribers helping us reach a vanity number. Really appreciate that. And then other than that, you can find me on the internet at Stuff Summer Says. You can find Steve
at Steve Samsel.
See ya. Bye.